Welcome to the channel. I've made several videos on manifestation techniques in the past. For those of you looking to create passive income, trying to find your ideal home, your dream home, or just want to learn how to use this technique when it comes to real estate, I think you'll find this video very helpful. It's one of the most important techniques that I've used and continue to do so to work towards my financial goals and build my real estate portfolio. And that is without compromising or overpaying, and more importantly, overstressing. It's a tried and true formula. It's worked wonders for me, and I think it's going to do great for you if you give it a shot. I'm going to talk about three things. Step number one, how I used the science of manifestation to get my dream home and the inner workings of it. No fluff, just tried and true and what worked and what didn't work. Step number two, it would be how the rich, or the 20%, go about getting their dream homes. And finally, why this approach works and how you can actually go about using and applying it in your real life. Because I think all this stuff sounds great on videos and books, but what matters is that actually applicable in real life? That said, let's dive in. Now, have you ever walked past a beautiful home and the thought occurred to you, man, I wish I could afford this, or I wish this could be mine? But almost instantly your brain shuts it down and tells you to come back to your reality. And you start wondering if homes like these are only for the rich or the select few or the wealthy. And you start to come up with all sorts of reasons why you cannot have this or why this is not going to work for you. The reality is that what's standing between you and your dream home is not truly your bank account or your circumstances, but it's truly the way you think about it. And I say that because I've been there myself. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this video, to show you exactly how to go about and getting what you want in life, and whether it's home or anything else. So stick around towards the end of the video, and I'll reveal a mistake that 90% of the people make, which holds them back from manifesting anything really, and myself too for quite some time. And when obviously you don't things the right way, you think the formula is bad, and you start to discount everything else that relates to it. So I've broken down the first point into three phases. Let's talk about phase one. Is what do you actually do? How the science of manifestation actually works? You start by writing down your goal. You write down your goal and your ideal property in this case as clearly and in as much detail as you can. Now, manifestation in real estate is not about luck or wishful thinking or magic. It's backed by science and it's a strategic approach to attracting the home or whatever it is that you're looking to get. A long-term study at Stanford University found that your RAS, or your reticular activating system, is like your brain's personal assistant. It decides which opportunities and details to focus on and which ones to ignore. And when you set a clear and specific goal for yourself, whether it's a dream home or anything else, your brain starts to filter out those opportunities and look for ways to make it happen for you. Now, it needs a clear mission, it needs a clear task, and once it has that, it gets to work and actually produces life-changing results. And that is exactly the technique that we're going to use here. Is when I say write down your goals, I mean write down exactly what is it that you're looking for. Describe in as much detail as possible: location, price, neighborhood, the vibe you're looking for. I personally went as far as describing what kind of backyard I wanted and what material the house should be made of, whether it's siding, brick, stone. The way I see it, if the results of RAS depended on how my intentions were or how clear my intentions were, then why am I limiting myself? I should describe whatever it is I want in as much detail as possible and see if this actually works. And that is exactly what I did. What I found out was really surprising, not in the sense that actual results got delivered, but it's also the time frame. The craziest thing is that it worked and delivered exactly what I wanted. And it was almost like a walk in the park. It was so unbelievable that I just could not believe something like this could work this quickly. And I know it sounds too good to be true, which it is, because that's not what happened. It was actually a lot of work. Now, at the time when I was applying this, I had some ideas on how it works, but I really didn't know what to expect. I did have my doubts and fears of what if it wouldn't work? What if I'm just wasting my time? But I've always felt drawn to metaphysics, even from a very young age, and spent many years just reading and learning and consuming content on various concepts. And I was just tired of hearing and learning about these concepts and things and never really putting them to any real test. So I decided to do what any modern day logical person would not do, which is put everything that I had learned to test to see if it actually works. Not only did it work, which slow at first, but I wasn't really expecting much anyway, so that was pretty amazing. But the snowball effect of this approach just changed things in a time frame that I had never really expected. And that's why I say write down clearly everything that excites you about your dream home in detail, and believe me, your dream home is worth it. Now, you don't have to just take my word for it. There's lots of literature out there supporting this, but one long-term study in particular that I really like is the cognitive priming and goal achievement at Harvard, which found that people who actually wrote down their goals specifically in clear detail were 42% more likely to achieve them than those who just thought about it. Let's dive into step 2, identity shift, or act as if you already have it. So once you've got your goal written down, think about how do you actually feel when you visualize yourself living in that home? Does it bring empowering thoughts? Does it energize you? If not, then you got to go back to step 1 and rework at it, because you have not described your ideal state to the point where it actually excites you to take action. And if it brings up positive and empowering feelings, that's great. You're off to a good start. Why? Because step 2 is where you rewire your brain so you can truly immerse yourself in your goals and recognize hidden opportunities, and that would set things in motion. I remember many years ago when I was living in a 2-bedroom townhome, whenever my wife and I would go for walks, I'd always want to walk in the neighborhoods where my then dream homes were. We'll walk every street and talk about what we liked and disliked about those homes and how we can't wait to have a home like that. Now, believe me when I say that I immersed myself in that experience, and I really mean it. The only thing that I didn't do at the time was really walk into other people's home. Now, in retrospect, I kind of did that too during open houses. I really immersed myself in the feeling, and I really tried to see myself and convince my RAS that I belonged in one of those homes. A long-term study at Harvard University on the power of acting as if found that people who acted as if they already have what they desire, and whether it's a successful business, a strong physique, or a dream home, are significantly more likely to achieve it. Why? Because their decisions and behaviors begin aligning with that future reality. And that is the key there, is once you do that, you will align your emotions and actions to where you want to be. So think and act like someone who already owns that home. Improve your credit if you have to. Save intentionally. Talk to the real estate agents in that area. Let your actions match your beliefs, and let your RAS do its job and get out of its way, so it can bring you your reality to match your beliefs. Moving on to step number 3, or taking massive actions, the part that is the hardest. I've mentioned it before, manifestation is not passive. You've got to take action on your beliefs. If you don't look at listings, visit open houses, talk to people in the neighborhood you like, organize your finances, or learn about mortgages, whatever it is you need to do, you're just daydreaming. Take real action and you will get real results. Most people think manifestation is just writing down your goals and thinking about it positively and sleeping all day and hoping for things to magically happen. And to some extent, it's unfortunately portrayed that way, and I feel like that's why manifestation's got a bad rap. But what they really don't tell you is that your brain is wired to filter reality based on what you believe is possible. This is where your RAS comes in, and when it spots opportunities, your job is to put your fears and uncertainties aside and take action, believing that things will work out. This is how you can do the so-called impossible for yourself and transform your life in a very short amount of time. The point is, when I was thinking of my dream property, I didn't just write down my goals and sit there thinking positively I left no stone unturned. When it came to convincing my IRS that this is what I want or this is what I'm looking for, I did everything I possibly could. Mentally, I was already there, parking my car in their garages, grilling in their backyard, and they essentially had a virtual roommate that they had no idea existed. In my mind, I had already moved in. All that needed to happen was that my physical reality needed to shift to match my beliefs in my mind. Now, this is not the only way, but this is the way that I convinced my mind that I belonged in one of those homes. And you can too. You can use this exact same technique. Just as it worked for me, it would work for you. All you need is these 3 steps. Write down your goals or your ideal property clearly, align your emotions and make sure they energize you, and take consistent action. If you're looking for any other secret sauce to getting everything you wanted without putting in the work, then you'd be looking for a very long time. And we'll hopefully come to this realization one day, but I hope that one day is today and not 5 or 10 years from now. Now, if you still think this is all fairy tales, then let's look at how some of the wealthiest people in the world or the most successful people in the world, even in real estate, use the same technique, whether they realize it or not. Let's take an example of Oprah Winfrey, who's a billionaire today. She used to visualize herself living in her dream home, and she used to keep vision journals where she would have pictures of these properties that she loved. Years later, she bought a 42-acre mansion in California. Now, you could call it coincidence. You could think she was training her mind to filter the right opportunities, whatever it may be. The reality is she convinced herself that she belonged in one of those homes, and her brain essentially found a way for her to get there and make her beliefs match her reality. The question is, how do you go about using an approach like this in practical daily manner? When it comes to finding your ideal home, I'd say start spending time in neighborhoods where you want to live. Go to the open houses, go for walks, talk to people that live there. Hear about their stories as to how they ended up there. You would be surprised. Some of them might have been in your position, and it might inspire you just to be able to hear their stories and know, hey, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me. Share your excitement and you have for the neighborhood and act as if you belong there. It's a matter of time before you end up there. The point of all this is you're trying to reframe your thoughts by changing the dialogue that you have with yourself. So when you see your ideal home, instead of saying, I can't afford that, say, I can't wait to be there. It's not about the words. It's the feelings they invoke or don't when you tell yourself, I can't afford this. Then essentially you tell your mind that this is not for me, and it says, okay. So your seeking mechanism, which essentially is your RAS, shuts down. And it's the opposite when you tell yourself, how can I afford this, or how can I get this? So instead of thinking about all the roadblocks in your way, your brain starts to look for opportunities and people that align with that goal, so it can turn your belief or your dream into your reality. And that essentially is the key. What you're trying to achieve with all this is you are trying to reframe your thoughts and tell yourself a different story, a story where things are possible for you. The essence of this video is write down your goals, make sure your emotions align with your goals, and take consistent action. And there is no other secret sauce to it. I've tried it time and time again. It works every single time. It's not easy. It gets easier with time because your expectations get more aligned with what to expect, I guess. So you're not living in la la land anymore. You do realize that problems will come your way, but you also understand that every problem is an opportunity. And if you just stay consistent and stick with your goal, things will work out. So now that you know how manifestation works, I challenge you to pick a goal, pick your dream home, pick whatever it is, and write it down and take action. Write down one thing that you can do to propel yourself towards your goal and be consistent with it. It's not going to happen overnight, but I guarantee you, if you stick with it, and you go through all the challenges and all the obstacles and keep a positive mindset and keep working at it, something of benefit will accrue to you and you'll be better off than you were before. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Please share in the comments below if you've used similar techniques and let me know what's worked for you and what's not. If you're using this approach, I'd love to hear what are some of the challenges you're running into. I'd be happy to share my thoughts on it. Until next time, time is your greatest capital. Invest wisely.